one of the biggest steps is site work. And in the site work, we have to figure out rainwater, especially where we live. And the townships are really concerned under the good principle of excess runoff from disturbing soil that may have been here for hundreds of years. Where does that water go? And what does it do once you disturb it? So part of what we do is we have to design a rain garden. So we're standing in front of a job that we're about ready to open up. We did the site work the last couple months. We have a completed rain garden that collects basically the water that runs off of the site to here. To get approved, it has to be in the right location. We have to test to make sure the soil can absorb the water. We also have to have, as you can see behind me, we got a very large rock overflow. We also have to be able to control the water on those rainstorms that are insurmountably strong, that it's hard to engineer for, because you're not going to engineer for that 100-year rain, as they call it. So that water would then have a way to control to get out of here as if it was just raining. The whole concern is they want to slow it down and try to get it back into the ground, because historically the water here would either go back in the ground or slowly removed from the site. So if we're going to add things like yards, driveways, patios, that water can't absorb into the ground. So they want to slow it down and give it a means to go back into the ground. Normally, if we didn't do it, it would just go like with the contour lines. So we're essentially putting a stop point between the home and where it would have gone, because we're going to increase the flow of it coming off. If it was just a vacant lot, the flow would be much slower. It'd have all the trees, all the root systems. It would meander its way through the field. Now it's much more directed, because we're going to swale it out of the yard, and we have to slow it back down to get it to a more natural state. If you have an existing home, and you're on a public street, it's going to go into the stormwater system of the township if they have one. Usually those would go into some sort of like runoff into a creek, back into like the public domain, like a public stream, creek, river. Like around here we go into the Delaware. Here they're trying to prevent that. They're trying to get it back in the ground before it ever leaves the site. So that's the goal. Heavy excess rains may leave the site, but again, they would leave the site no matter what. If you paved a 1 acre piece, fully paved over it, that water wouldn't absorb in the ground at all. It would be running off uncontrollably fast. And the water normally wouldn't run that fast. So they want to slow it down. They want to try to keep it on site as much as possible. 99% of the rainstorms will keep on site. Bottom of this basin gets converted to an amended soil mix, where we take organic material, horse manure, cow manure, and we mix it with topsoil, and we get a very organic mix that basically like a sponge with water, and it absorbs it, breaks that barrier of soil and lets it soak in. We can do that also with plantings, so where we can take topsoil, put wetland plantings, that helps water go through, because once you break the barrier of the soil on top, the water will absorb down into the ground. So the whole setup here on this particular basin is we're gonna have 2 funnel points coming in. We have a swale over here and a swale here, and we want to take the water into there in 2 locations. Once it gets to the bottom of the rain garden, it's gonna meet a mix of compost and topsoil and sand, and then that's going to cover 18-inch coverage all the way around this rain garden. And then the water that's going to go in there will not hold like this. It'll actually soak in the ground. Currently, during construction, it's in a temporary state where we actually do want to hold the water. We want to collect the sediment that's coming off, and then once we're done to convert that, we scoop all the sediment off, which is like the fine dirt. And then we take that out. Almost everywhere where you build a new home, if you're disturbing over 5,000 square feet in this area, it's different per township. So that would be like a home and a driveway, you're already there. So almost 95% of new construction have a rain garden. It depends on how much you're displacing. So sometimes you only may just be displacing 1,000 or 2,000 square foot of ground, of impervious coverage, like pavement. You would have a much smaller rain garden. Here, we designed the site with a barn, a very large home, a very long driveway, and some patios and stuff like that. So we're displacing a significant amount of water. So that just makes this bigger. A basin like this could cost anywhere between $25,000 to $75,000 on the higher end. Again, depending on townships and where they go. But that's a significant cost. Should be researched before you build a home. We can help you guys research that, because this is a big factor that some people just don't think about when they build. You could ask the township if you could have a pond, which it's harder to design because you have to have that up and down of the pond still to collect the water. You would make it deeper, but you could have a pond. I know a lot of people out here do have ponds. They keep fish in there, habitat, wildlife, like it's a good area. You would have to design it differently than this, but you could design a pond and have it more useful than what this is gonna be, for sure. If you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit our website, visit us on Instagram to learn more about the process. We can help you through it. It's complicated, but with step-by-step direction, it's not overly hard.